would take it 38 yards to the house. Andy Reid gets his first Super Bowl championship. The Chiefs win it 31-20. The Gatorade was orange. The celebration was on. The Chiefs are the champs of the football world as they completely stymied, or are stymied, for 50 minutes and then flip the switch. In the last 10 minutes of the game, Kansas City held the ball longer. They outgained the 49ers and outscored them 21-0. And right now we are pleased to welcome live Damien Williams, one of the Kansas City heroes from last night's Super Bowl, who is working, he tells me, on absolutely no sleep. And Damien, we appreciate you doing this very much. Here's where I want to begin. You're down 20-10. There's about 12 minutes left in the game, and Patrick Mahomes throws his second interception. Take us to the sideline after that play. What were the conversations like?
Just, continue to believe in, everything Andy's laid out, throughout the week. And just believe in each other. And just keep reiterating that and over and over and over. And me personally going up and down the sideline, speaking to guys and looking guys in their eyes and just telling them to believe.
Your team was down double digits in each of the two previous playoff games. In what way was this different? It felt different watching it. Was it different last night being behind this team?
Nah, it most definitely was, just knowing, they're a high power scoring offense, just like we are. They have a great defense, Like I was saying this all week, they're great at taking the ball away, and like, them two picks showed that. And like I said, all we could do is stick together and just, believe and come through it and fight for this win.
And that you did, and from that point forward, you outscored them 21-0. What changed? What changed for your offense?
Just kind of, you have to have a short memory, especially, in a game like that. You can't let, everything bottle you up as far as, what's going on takeover-wise and in the score. You kind of just live in that moment, take each play, one play at a time, and just, be great and just, be successful. And that's what we was doing as an offense, being successful. We was clicking. And, once we got together, we couldn't be stopped.
Did you feel on the field that their defense started to get tired in that fourth quarter?
Most definitely, especially, when we went into the no huddle and kind of, really sped things up. They was getting a little fatigued and, they were switching guys in and out. So, we took advantage of that and we practiced, that all the way, from camp, just making it hard. So when a time like this presents itself, we've been there already. We've done that. We fought. We already been through being tired. Mentally, we're strong. So it was just, another day on the practice field for us.
You mentioned the no huddle. What other adjustments did you make in that fourth quarter that were so effective for you?
Kind of, trying to get the ball out of his hands quick. They have a great defensive front. And they're good at, getting after the quarterback. And, they got the pack, a couple times. And, it's kind of just, get the ball out fast, establish the run game, which we did early in the game. And just kind of keep being consistent and keep marching forward.
So you scored the huge touchdown last night that was reviewed for some time, and ultimately the call stood. Was there any question in your mind that that was a touchdown?
Not at all. I believed in the process. I believed in everything, we was doing. And it just felt real to me. I knew what I did. I knew I got across that pylon, and I knew it was 7.
Final thought for you. When that clock strikes 0, you fulfill a dream that millions of people have and so few people actually get to experience. What was that immediate moment like? What were the feelings and what thoughts were going through your mind?
Man, it was just so much going through my mind. I really wanted to find my family. I ran, to the tunnel where I seen all the families coming out. And in that moment, I just, I wanted to be around my family and friends and, and having them come all the way down from California, to experience this with me. It was amazing. So the first thing I thought about was my family and my kids.
Damien, it was a fun night to watch. It was an incredible season to watch. Congratulations, you're a Super Bowl champion. Thanks very much for doing this morning.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
That was really good. Great stuff from Damien Williams there. Do we think anybody here that Williams should have been the Super Bowl MVP?
I believe he should have, but I understand that when you have a MVP caliber quarterback that you have to take it from, and it wasn't anything that he did was historical, but it was very needed for them to be able to stay on rhythm, his ability to catch the ball, to be able to earn the respect, because that's what they were presenting to them. They were presenting a light box, make sure that nobody got behind him. I thought he was very effective, and I thought he was the best player on the field. I understand that Mahomes is the player that threw it to him, but I thought he was very deserving of it, but I understand why he didn't.
Not the best player on the field. I mean, the best player on the field was the
best
quarterback.
performance, right?
I mean, listen, he had an impactful performance. I mean, you could say the same thing for Tyrann Mathieu. I think Tyrann Mathieu saved the game in the first quarter for the Chiefs. I told you guys that. They don't win the game without the quarterback. Like, that's the bottom line. They don't win that game without Patrick Mahomes. It's the truth, though. Like, we're not even, there's some plays in that game that don't even, they will not show up on the stat sheet, where he's just getting beat up and beat up and beat up, but he gets out of the rush and he makes a play. Sammy Watkins on a completion, the shrugging off of Bosa, completion to Kelsey. Like, there was plays by Patrick Mahomes when they needed him that, like, value. How many quarterbacks could have made those plays, where Damian Williams had a really good game, and he was my dark horse potential MVP guy, but there's a lot of backs that can go and have that similar performance. There were not a lot of quarterbacks that were going to make those plays in the fourth quarter that Mahomes made.
Marcus, when you think about what we might have thought going into this game, you would expect the 49ers to have run the ball more than the Chiefs did. Instead, it's the other way around. How surprised were you that the Chiefs ran the ball as much as they did?
I was not necessarily surprised for it to be known, Laura, because we saw Andy Reid kind of go to this last week against the Titans and trying to help Pat Mahomes in that regard too. But you can't go into this San Francisco. Look, great defenses, when they give up runs, they start to question things. I've been a part of them. Bart has been a part of them. And the fact that you were able to get this going with Damian Williams early, I think, is what played into the factor of Pat Mahomes doing what he was doing late in the stretch. Andy Reid called a masterful game when it comes to how he spread this offense out.
I also would like to ask, because this is what I was thinking as the game is going on. It felt like San Francisco's defensive philosophy, and could you explain it here to the audience, was to make Mahomes have to be patient, right? A lot of those runs are coming because of the looks that he's getting, force him to be patient, and it looked like it was working. He forced that one ball on the first interception. The second one was a throw a little bit behind the receiver. But it felt to me like they were forcing them to check to those runs and force them to be patient.
The structure of the defense is to keep everything in front. We talked about it last week, remember? So you got to make Mahomes beat you with the 7-iron, take the driver out of his bag, and they did that. Everything that they did through the first three quarters was picture perfect. You made Mahomes play patient. You made Andy Reid play patient, or coach a patient game, and they did that. And then the fourth quarter, it flipped. In the fourth quarter, he said, give me the big stick. Give me the driver. I'm hitting driver on the par 4 no matter what. And so, you know, like the patience that he displayed in the first three quarters, kind of the two interceptions that were thrown, one of them was a lack of patience. But at the end of the day, he said, I'm better than you.
I suspect a guy that was a Heisman finalist by the name of Eric Bieniemy had a lot to do with going to Andy Reid and saying, hey, let's hand this thing off and see what we can do with it. I have that suspicion.
Meanwhile, if you turned it off after that touchdown by Damian Williams, you missed something that, as our friend Scott Van Pelt would say, was significant to some. Patrick Mahomes had 44 yards rushing entering their final possession. He lost 15 yards on the 3 kneel downs, and as a consequence, finished with just 29 yards rushing for the game. That was a significant number for those who were affected by it, and I think you know what I'm talking about. Meanwhile, who does your team need to draft? The process starts with the scouting combine.
Already?
February 27th through March 1st. Strap it up, big fella. We're ready to go.
Shay, let's go.
NFL Live will have reports that week on ESPN. NFL Network will have their usual full coverage. ESPN and ABC coverage will also be available on the ESPN app. As we continue, Frank Clark led the Chiefs to a title. You'll hear why he thinks he and his teammates are going to play in many more Super Bowls going forward. That's on the way.